Witness more blatant, malicious deception, smears, lies, besmirchment from the mob and the media. Look at this article in the New York Times. It is entitled, "A Beloved Bar Owner Was Skeptical About the Virus, Then Took a Cruise." Times columnist, well, this woman's name is Ginia Belafonte, pretty much all but accused yours truly of murder. Times claimed that because of something I said in early March 9th to be exact, well, Joyce decided it would be okay to take a cruise to Spain. Now, they claim he ultimately contracted coronavirus, didn't quite tie it to the cruise completely, and sadly, he passed away. Now, this is where the New York Times slander begins. In order to smear yours truly, this woman exploited a man's tragic death. She willingly, maliciously, purposefully took something I said completely out of context, and as proven by all my past statements that the New York Times was very well aware of, and it gets worse. The remarks that she used, they were from March the 9th, again, taken out of context. It was also 8 days after Mr. Joyce embarked on his cruise. Those are the remarks she referred to in her slanderous.
Okay, so there you're seeing Sean Hannity talking about a New York Times article that talks about this individual who died because he didn't believe that coronavirus was a big issue. So he took a cruise to Spain, which has been incredibly hard hit by coronavirus, came back, still didn't take it seriously, started to experience symptoms, didn't take it seriously, and eventually, about a week ago, died. Now, I will say at the very beginning of this, I have no idea if this individual watches Sean Hannity's show, and no one who talks about coronavirus is directly responsible for anyone's life. But I do have to respond to what Sean Hannity just said there, because I am seeing multiple articles going around saying, aha, the New York Times was wrong to pin this on Sean Hannity, because as he pointed out in that video, one of the comments that they cite in the article, I believe the only comment specifically from Sean Hannity, came about a week after he went on the cruise. But there's just a few issues with that I want to go through. One, the article's not saying that he killed this individual. The article's not about Sean Hannity at all. It's about misinformation. Well, what did he say before the guy got on the cruise? Why don't we follow up and see? And so I decided to do that. I went back and while I would have loved to have watched like a month of Sean Hannity's coverage, I would have literally killed myself during that, so I chose not to. I looked at the episode from February 27th. Here are just a few of the things he said 4 days before the cruise. Let's be very clear about that.
The end is near, the apocalypse is imminent, and you're going to all die, all of you, in the next 48 hours. And it's all President Trump's fault. Or at least that's what the media mob and the Democratic Extreme Radical Socialist Party would like you to think. They are now sadly politicizing and actually weaponizing an infectious disease. Now, many on the left are now all but rooting for corona to wreak havoc in the United States. Why? To score cheap, repulsive political points. Now, should we, let's look at this seriously. Left literally whipping this country into a frenzy, some promoting extreme measures immediately, close schools immediately, daycare centers, businesses, mass transit systems, and the cancellation of any large gathering. Now, if things do get dramatically worse, it may come to that. We are nowhere near that point as of tonight, thankfully. However, according to the mob and the media, well, your life is about to be horrible, and it's all Donald Trump's fault. One New York Times opinion columnist, actually, this is New York Times, called the coronavirus the Trump virus. Thankfully, 0 people in the United States of America have died from the coronavirus. 0. Now, let's put this into perspective. In 2017, 61,000 people in this country died from influenza, the flu, common flu, and around 100 people die every single day from car wrecks. Of course it's tragic, but despite what you hear, the world is not coming to an end. Of course it's serious, and as the disease continues to spread, the president has requested billions of dollars in additional funding. He has appointed the vice president to lead the response. The vice president is calling on all Americans to work together to combat this infectious disease.
A little bit of bad news for Fox News. According to Justin Baragona, both CNN and MSNBC beat Fox News across the board in ratings on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Prior to that, according to Nielsen, the last time Fox News lost to both networks in total viewers was over 20 years ago, on 9/24/2000. On Friday, all of Fox's primetime programs finished third in total viewers and the demo. That includes Tucker Carlson, which drew 3.36 million viewers and 500. I don't really care. Chris Hayes had looking like 500,000 more. Anderson Cooper, way more popular than Tucker Carlson these days, apparently. Anyway, generally do care all about ratings. I think it's incredibly weird that the president talks about it as much as he does. But Fox losing to both of those networks, it hasn't been for decades. And we know that they have been bleeding some support.
Democrats, the media mob, they're having none of that. Instead, they're more interested in launching vile, vicious personal attacks for cheap political points.